guys, this is Jackie Cooper with JCooperTravels, and today I am really excited to be talking about this topic because marketing, digital, social media, we're all engaged in that now. And Austen is an expert. He's been doing a lot of things throughout his life. He has a really interesting story that he's going to share with us. Austen, thank you so much for coming and talking with us, educating us. I know there's a lot that I still have to learn, so I really appreciate your time. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got involved? Because I know you have an interesting story to share.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you for having me, Jackie. I appreciate you having me on. Essentially, I really, just growing up, I was really fascinated with money and business and just kind of how that world worked. Ended up going to Chico State up in Northern California for school, got my degree in entrepreneurship. Had a couple of ventures there that failed, but that's where we learn, right?
Yeah.
One that was specifically on connecting entrepreneurs together, right? It was called Collab Hub. The Entrepreneur Network was my tagline, right? It was my 19-year-old little venture. And so I kind of learned from there, right? And then I remember taking a marketing class and was super fascinated by the marketing world. I had a really good professor, which I think is huge. And so I went on to take another marketing class after that. And that's where kind of my story starts. So his name was Lance Blanchy. I remember him very clearly. He actually ran a big marketing company in Northern California called the Blanchy Partners. And I remember he mentioned to the class one day, he's like, hey guys, there's this local gluten-free beer company that's out in Chico. They don't have a whole bunch of money to work with my firm. So he kind of threw the project at the students, right? So I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is time to get some work experience, right? I needed some of that. And so me and 7 other students took the project on. Met with the client. It was a husband and wife. His wife was gluten intolerant, but he didn't want to stop drinking beer. So he created this gluten-free beer to keep everyone happy, right? So it's like, okay, cool. This is exciting. So we start meeting as a team. I'm the one that's taking the creative lead. I'm building kind of the labels for the beer. I tried to build a website. If I look at it now, it's so bad. But I was learning, right? And by the end of this 3-month little assignment, this real world project, if you will, we actually had to do a presentation. And by the end of it, there was only 4 of us. So there was a few that actually had dropped off for whatever reason. Actually, there was 3 of us at the end because it was supposed to be 4 of us giving the presentation, and then 1 person left the day of the presentation. So one of our classmates, he's like, don't worry, I got this, right? He took over her lines. We gave a presentation. It was bad, but it was a lot of fun. They were actually super excited about it. And they actually ended up paying us like $2,000. So there I was like, oh, maybe we can, us 3 can come together and actually start something, right? So I think we worked on it for like a month, and then school got in the way, and then, nothing ever ended up happening. But graduated in 2016 with my degree. Went to go work for a wholesale distributor in like commercial and industrial, contractors and manufacturers. Did not enjoy it at all. I just knew like one of my biggest fears of going to school was, okay, I'm going to have to go do the 9-to-5 grind, wake up early, sit in traffic for an hour, sit at a desk, go home, wait in traffic for an hour again, be too tired to go do anything, pass out, and then wake up and do it all over again. So I just remember I was young too. I was like 22. Everyone else was in their 30s or older. And I just saw people, kind of sitting in these chairs, kind of deteriorating in that sense of like, I can't wait till it's Friday. It's just another day, I'm here because I have to be kind of thing. It's depressing. And I'm sure some people feel that way, but also maybe it could have been the fact that, what I really wanted was to be in a marketing position. And so kind of my journey in that sense is I think it was important to learn a lot from the sales aspect of my job, but I still needed to figure out, what my path was really going to be.
Right.
So,
So I'm going to show everyone your website because we we're going to be talking about how you have navigated that. So I have up on the screen your company. So
yes.
is this company an offshoot of where you were, or how did you launch this?
Yeah, so this is an even more interesting story, actually. So, um, one of the guys that I had graduated with at Chico State, we were close towards the end, found out, fortunately, that he actually lived down the street from my house, my parents' house, down in Orange County. And so we ended up linking up, hanging out a few times, getting a group together. I remember one time we were with our group of friends at a hookah bar in Long Beach. And he brings up the funny idea. He's like, hey, what do you think about, and again, this is another, entrepreneurial mind, very smart guy. What do you think about starting a business where people who have beef or issues with each other fight each other over a cash prize amateur MMA style to settle their issues? And I was like, okay, definitely, wild, interesting, sure, yeah, like, it was just kind of one of those conversations where you're out with your friends, just having fun talking. A week later, he reaches out and he's like, I'm serious about this. Like, let's let's do this. So I remember still working at my sales job. Every Thursday, we'd meet at the same Starbucks. And we would sit down and plan and strategize and use some techniques that we learned in school and put together a business plan and go to market plan. But we were figuring out kind of the logistics of it, right? Like we needed an ambulance that on call, we needed a ring, we needed somewhere to host it. We needed HIV tests for the fighters, referees, camera equipment, everything, judges. So we wanted to kind of alleviate some of those costs by filming it in Tijuana. So we ended up, I had another buddy that went to Chico that was a cameraman. And so, but he lives in LA now. So we all kind of gathered together, put out a bid with a few hotels in Tijuana, and one came back pretty low as far as renting out their banquet hall to put the ring in. So we're like, okay, road trip, time to go to Tijuana. We parked the car in San Diego, walked across the bridge over the border, and ended up staying at this place for the night. They hooked us up. They put us in a room for the night. We mapped out the whole banquet hall and everything. But after the trip, it was kind of that realization, right? Like, you can't necessarily build things and they will come. You kind of have to have an audience nowadays, right? So how do you gain that audience? How do you market yourself? The big thing that I wanted to do was build up a social media following. At the time, and even today, it's still one of the best as far as engagement goes, is building up a following on Instagram, right? And so that was my job. My buddy who brought the idea to me, he was head of, he was heading the strategy, the logistics. I wanted to focus on the marketing side, going back to what I was always interested in. So I think I spent a few months building this page. It was a pranks page when pranks were really big. They're still kind of big right now on YouTube and Instagram, but this is when it was really blowing up. Ended up growing this page to about 8,000 followers. Ended up being ranked number 5 for the keyword pranks on Instagram. It was doing really well. But then my buddy had moved down to San Diego, was working 12-hour days, and we kind of, separated a little bit, and the idea never, flourished. I still have the Instagram account. It doesn't really get posted on anymore, but essentially I learned a lot, and then kind of out of that is where I kind of found, of course I had a love for marketing, but I didn't really know what I was doing just yet until then. And so I kind of pieced together some ideas of, like some techniques that I was using, write like an email list, which I ended up turning into a book. And then a few months later after that, found a webinar about how to run, paid advertising on social media channels. So, and this guy was he was just trying to sell his course on how to grow, how to become like a social media marketing agency kind of thing. But he did give one piece of value on how to find your first client. So I was like, okay, let me try this out. And it was some kind of message that you would have to craft and post on like a Facebook group somewhere. And so I did it, and I got like 10 responses back, and I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. I was so excited. Ended up, doing some free trials for some people, and I landed my first client, which was a karate dojo in Orange County. And that's how Kelekt Media was born. Essentially, was through there, and the fact of actually working with my buddy, going to Tijuana, trying to figure out this idea, putting something to use, getting my first client, running Facebook ads, and then have built this kind of full service marketing agency ever since, and still building on it and still growing and still learning. So it's been a crazy journey.
So I'll put the website back on. I just, for those that are listening on the podcast and on YouTube, when I share his podcast, I can't see him, and I love engaging with whoever I'm talking to. So when you created this company, are there certain clients that you're working with or that you're looking for that that you can help? I know your skills apply to everyone, but do you, we often hear we need to be looking for a niche. Do you find that you have a niche, or where are you looking for?
And I'd say probably one of my biggest mistakes starting out was trying to focus on a general market. Maybe initially I was doing that to kind of test to see who I can get the best results for, and then duplicate those results. But now, and most recently, having to pivot just because the whole pandemic situation, right? I wanted to focus more on influencers and recording artists and, actresses and actors and people who are, just artists in general, entertainment. That I feel like is one of the bigger things right now. And there's a big problem in the sense of, whether or not it's a record label or, a producer or, anyone that's really on the other end trying to help out an artist. They really want to see that artist has a community, a backing, some kind of engagement that they can use to kind of promote, what both sides are pushing out. So I was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity, right? So I had done some, work previously for some, singers and some influencers. So I knew I could provide good results. So that's what we've been building on, lately, for sure. Definitely.
So, hold on a second. She wants to sing and she wants to say hi. Normally she doesn't.
Hello.
I know. Normally she doesn't get involved, but obviously. So let me show. I'm going to pull up the website, and we're going to talk about the services that you have access to, because these are skills that actually everyone needs to know about. I know that you're focusing on a niche market, but when you think about it, every business needs lead generation, and every business needs to get involved with social influence growth. Now, what's interesting, now I understand why you have more music downloads down here.
Right.
And then the SEO, the search engine rankings, and YouTube subscribers.
Right.
So, are there any tips that you might, just share in terms of someone that is trying to figure out why they should approach someone like you to help them, and why everyone thinks at first that they can do it by themselves, but obviously there's a learning curve. So having someone like yourself can actually speed up the success of the business. So anything that you can share that why a business might need to look at someone like you and why it would help them?
Yeah, I think the most important thing too is just understanding, what you're best at, right? You're best at running your business, your business the best. So the thing is, when you look at, when you calculate and sit down, okay, how much is my time worth? and how much time am I going to spend trying to figure this out, trying to fail, and trying to learn, try and watch some YouTube videos, or pay for some courses, which is direct costs. But a lot of it is more kind of opportunity cost, right? Or maybe you may be missing out on being able to grow your business and get more clients because you're too worried on trying to focus on how to work out digital marketing. We kind of sit down and we kind of say, okay, here's what your needs are, here's where we want to be, let's set some expectations and goals, here are some metrics that we understand for success, and let's put together a plan, right? It's not just like, okay, yeah, we'll post for you and grow your followers, right? It's more strategic, right? Let's put together a game plan, a strategy, and use me as an extension, not just as someone that's doing the work for you, but also as a consultant for issues that may come up too. Like a lot of people will say, okay, let me just Google it. No, work with, like, you're working with me. Let me help you. I'll do that for you. Or I know a lot of the answers already, so let me just do it. Let me just help you out, right? So it's more of a consultant approach, more of a needs approach, and putting together an actual strategy that's going to work for your business.
So I'm looking at your website, and you've had a variety of clients, not just the
Right.
niche that you talked about, but I see, both in shape to tone. I see U.S. debt resolution. I see it cuts across a lot of different markets. So you're very knowledgeable. So anything that you've learned from working in such a variety that might help someone, who's thinking about, again, reaching back out to you, because I know you said you want to go in one niche, but you can help a variety of people.
Definitely can, yeah, and I want to be as transparent with people as possible, because I have worked with a bunch of different types of industries, and I know and can help people understand. Okay, maybe I'm not the best fit for you. Maybe you're not going to see as well of a return on your investment. But some are better than others. I want to be very upfront and transparent. Like, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Let's look at the numbers. Let's see how much everything's going to cost, right? And you can see right here, like you can see like the leads, how much the leads are, how much leads we've gotten, how much they cost. The middle one is for e-commerce, and on the right side is kind of showing 1,200 new followers in a week as far as growing on Instagram. So these are just kind of some variations of what we've done. But the big thing is just helping each other understand how we're going to be a good fit. How can I get you the best return on your investment? Does it make sense to even hire a digital marketing company, or are you doing fine on your own? And just game planning things, right? It's not about trying to make money off this. It's about helping people out.
So when someone approaches you, do you have like a free consultation, or how does that work? How do they kind of reach out, make the appointment, and get a sense as to whether you guys are the right fit?
Yeah, so definitely you can either fill out a form on my site. I also have my email linked on there. My phone number is linked on there. I always have my phone on me, to a bad extent. Sometimes I need to turn that thing off. No, it's good. But yeah, you can reach out to me at DM me on Instagram if you wanted to, at Kelekt Call, KelektCall. Anyway that's best for you, and we can just talk. Have a conversation, set a meeting. I know we have the pandemic situation, but if you want to meet safely in person, if you're local in Orange County or in LA or in San Diego, I'm more than happy to.
Or
yeah.
Zoom?
Or Zoom. Zoom is good too.
Yeah.
More than happy to virtual meet you.
So for those that have been listening and are familiar with my podcast or even the YouTube side, or for those that are new, there's always a little block of information above the podcast or above the YouTube area. And that's where I'll be putting his contact information. So that way, if you're driving or listening and don't have a pen and paper, don't fret, just, go ahead and subscribe. Remember JCooperTravels, the podcast, as well as on the YouTube side. It's really easy. And all that contact information, so you can reach out to him, for sure. Because again, as business owners, we all need help. And especially, sometimes, like you said, we have an expertise in a certain area, and it means that we can make our company grow even faster by having someone else assist us. So, it's a great service that you provide, and it's definitely something that's needed because the digital marketing area is changing. I mean, there's so many, I mean, what started off in one area is expanding. And so, there might have been Facebook, and then there might have been Instagram, and then there might have been Twitter. And then there's all these other things that pop up and then disappear.
Crazy thing is watching TikTok right now is just seeing the crazy engagement that people are getting. The amount of, I know some people that are making 11 grand a month off of TikTok through brand deals, right? And you have these people who are, 13 years old to, 25 years old and older or younger even, who are making good money just posting on TikTok. And then recently you've seen Instagram come out with Reels, which is their response to TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just crazy to watch, it shows you kind of the beast that TikTok has become today as far as, in the social media game.
Yep. And so someone like yourself will be able to help navigate someone from one platform to the other and make it smooth. Otherwise, you're learning all the various algorithms and all those things, which, again, like you said, it takes time. So, so I really appreciate your being here. Any last minute things that you would like to share with those that are listening? Any last minute tips or advice? Otherwise, be sure everyone to kind of look at the information I'll be posting so you can reach back out and get in contact. Austen, any last minute stuff?
Not much. I just wanted to appreciate you for having me on. I want to thank you, everyone that's listening. Sorry for that ding, by the way.
It's okay.
And also, it's just being a business owner in general. For business owners out there or anyone that wants to start a business, just know that you're going to fail a lot, but don't, just learn to celebrate it. Just know that you're going to learn from your mistakes. It's going to be better. Kelekt Media was definitely not my first business, and it probably won't be my last. So just know that you're going to learn. You're going to get better. You're going to get smarter.
Yep.
And if you look at, 10 years ago compared to how you are now, and think back at how much smarter you are now, and then think about 10 years, down the road, you're probably going to be thinking the same thing. So just know that things take time. Be consistent. The more consistent you are, the luckier you get. Right. And just keep working hard. That's all I got to say. And again, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Jackie, for having me on, and I really appreciate it.
Yep. No, I'm really happy that you've been here. You've taught me a lot too. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Thanks.